The massive sun before Yuzi and N was enveloped by gigantic, mutated creatures. They showed no fear of the scorching heat emanating from the solar surface. Instead, they plunged their tentacles into the sun like parasites, greedily draining its energy. Anne stared toward the blazing star and muttered grimly, "Kid, we're too late." Yuzi's face turned dark and heavy. That parasitized sun. There was no mistaking it. It was Earth's sun. The coordinates couldn't be wrong. Anne glanced around, frowning. "Wait, are you saying this planet is Earth?" Yuzi murmured as the two of them stood on a silvery white sphere, lifeless and barren. "No, the size doesn't match. Earth isn't this small." Anne grew more confused. "Then where are we? I don't see Earth anywhere nearby." "You see," Yuzi said as he scooped up a handful of dust, examining it carefully. "This kind of sand couldn't form on Earth. It's lunar dust." Then, as if struck by a realization, he continued. With a sudden realization, his eyes widened. "The moon, by a laurel tree." In the next instant, Yuzi shot forward, leaving behind a golden streak of light. At a desolate ruin, withered roots crawled between shattered rocks. Yuzi descended, gazing down from above. At the center lay what was once a magnificent tree, now nothing but charred remains and brittle roots half buried in ash. Alan floated beside him and muttered, "This tree has been burned all the way to its core." Yuzi extended his hand, gathering spiritual energy. The remaining roots lifted slowly from the ground. "I'll take you into the life space," he murmured softly. "One day, I'll find a way to revive you." The roots vanished into a pocket of shimmering energy Yuzi summoned open. But then a sudden thought struck him. His expression turned sinister, his eyes flickering with blood at veins. Alan sensed the change and felt a chill run down his spine. "Kia. What's wrong with you?" Yuzi's hair shadowed his face as he spoke in a low, icy tone. "Let's go." Ayan blinked. "Go? Go where?" "To Mercury," Yuzi replied coldly. When they arrived, the planet had already been split in half. Streams of vapor and water coiled around the remaining core. Ayan's voice trembled. "This place. It's completely destroyed. You see, you shot off again." Venus, its surface torn open by a massive hole in the center. Saturn, shattered. Only fragments remained. Mars, its once crimson form now missing an entire hemisphere. Yuzi hovered in silence amid the ruins of the solar system. Ayan muttered bitterly, "Every planet cleaved in half. That's exactly the great emperor's style." Then suddenly, Ayan bumped into the back of Yuzi's head. "Hey, what the hell?" "Ouch," he yelped, rubbing his forehead. "Don't stop so suddenly. My head hurts." But as he looked up, his complaint died in his throat. His eyes widened in disbelief. Before them stretched an endless graveyard, with countless corpses of otherworldly beasts floating in the void. Wrecked warships drifted among the bodies, their hulls shattered and burned. Ayan's voice trembled. "Is this a mass grave?" He gazed upon the scene, horrified. Just how many beings had to die to create something like this? A suffocating aura of death hung over everything. The corpses of innumerable beasts were piled high like mountains, their lifeless eyes still wide open. The sight struck Yuzi like a hammer. His expression darkened, and then suddenly, as if sensing something, he froze. Yuzi turned his head sharply, his eyes widening as a spark of realization flashed across them. It infiltrates of life energy. Before him stood a colossal insect nest, split cleanly in half. Not far from it, a massive insectoid beast lay collapsed within the wreckage, its breathing faint and weak. Yuzi's voice trembled slightly as he called out, "Insect Queen." The creature lifted its head, staring blankly at Yuzi, whose current form resembled an angel. A look of confusion crossed her battered face. "Do I know anyone who looks like that?" she wondered. Her body quivered as she muttered weakly, "But that spiritual aura. It feels just like Master's." Yuzi didn't waste a moment. He raised his hand, and streams of shimmering life essence poured forth, wrapping around her broken form. Slowly, the torn carapace and shredded wings began to mend. After a while the insect queen's wounds closed and her breathing steadied. She finally opened her eyes fully. Yuzi immediately pressed her, his voice urgent. "Where is the great emperor? What about Earth, and Nine Tails, and the others?" The insect queen blinked, memories flooding back. "The great emperor went to Earth. Under Nine Tails' command, all of us." Her tone grew shaky as she continued. "All the beasts from the 8 great planets fought back with everything we had." She paused, her voice dropping to a sorrowful whisper, but it only lasted for a moment. Yuzi's expression darkened, an ominous premonition gripping his heart. The insect queen's tone trembled as she went on. We were completely defeated. All 10 of the great beasts have been slain. Yu said nothing. His silence was terrifyingly calm. Too calm. He simply listened, as the insect queen's body shuddered while she spoke of the final moments. After that, in a battle, the great emperor took Earth away. They still remember that moment clearly. His next target was Azure Blue Star. Yu waved his hand silently. The remains of the insect nest vanished, pulled into his life space. Go and rest there, he said coldly. When the insect queen disappeared, Yu remained frozen in place, his body trembling faintly. The air around him thickened as an overwhelming aura began to rise. The insect queen, even within the life space, could still feel it. That suffocating pressure. Master, she whispered in fear. Yu clenched his fist. In the next instant, terrifying spiritual power exploded from his body like a supernova. Great Emperor, I'll find you and I'll make you pay. Fury blazed in his golden eyes as he roared through clenched teeth. That damned bastard. Sensing his unleashed energy, the mutated creatures latched onto the sun began to stir violently. In an instant, they writhed and twisted, breaking free from the solar surface. The burning parasites fused together mid-air, forming a single colossal abomination that hurtled straight toward Yu. Anne's face turned pale. Kid, watch out, he shouted. Boom! The monstrous creature crashed down upon Yu, sending shock waves through the void. Smoke and light flared in every direction. From the sun's blazing surface, countless other parasitic beasts lifted their heads, their golden eyes gleaming with murderous intensity, each one radiating a deadly hunger that shook the heavens.